I want you to think back to a recent night. You were lying in bed trying to fall asleep, when suddenly your calf cramped up painfully, forcing you to jump out of bed and walk it off in the dark, silently enduring it, then telling yourself, maybe I just walked too much today. The next morning you woke up still sore. Your sleep had been restless, your body didn't feel refreshed. Maybe you've gotten used to it. Many people say, well, that's just aging. But as a doctor, and someone over 60 myself, I can tell you this with certainty. It's not just age. In more than 15 years of working with older adults, I've noticed one quiet common thread connecting many of these issues. And it's one we often overlook: magnesium deficiency. No one talks about it much. It's not as famous as calcium or vitamin D. Magnesium often gets forgotten. But your body, especially your muscles and nervous system, they never forget it. I want you to imagine this. Magnesium is like the backstage crew of your health. Quiet, invisible, but keeping everything running smoothly. Without it, things begin to fall apart. One of my patients, Ruth, age 68, came to me struggling with poor sleep. She had nightly leg cramps and often felt drained in the mornings. Her magnesium levels were below the healthy range, so we started with food. Pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, a little whole grain. No pills, no complex regimens. Just simple foods. 10 days later, Ruth returned with a bright smile. Doctor, for the first time in months, I slept through the whole night. You see, sometimes the solution doesn't come from a strong medicine, but from restoring a small, vital piece of the natural balance. I once asked one of my patients, Ken, age 65, if you had to describe magnesium in one word, what would it be? He paused for a moment and said, maybe mysterious. I smiled. He wasn't wrong. To many people, magnesium is still a mysterious mineral. It sounds familiar, but they're not sure what it actually does. The truth is, magnesium is the quiet conductor behind more than 300 biochemical reactions in our body. Every time you move a limb, your heart beats, your nerves send signals, or you try to relax enough to fall asleep, magnesium is involved. But after 60, our bodies absorb magnesium less efficiently, even as we need more of it to stay balanced. A curious paradox, isn't it? Let me help you picture it. Think of your muscles like a symphony orchestra. Magnesium is the silent conductor. Not loud, not flashy, but without hymns, the whole orchestra plays out of sync. Muscle cramps are a perfect example. The muscle contracts, then refuses to release, because no one is directing the show. Another patient of mine, Lanny, 70, told me, every time I reached for something on a shelf, my arm would lock up like a clamp. We tried increasing her magnesium through food. Simple changes, like adding spinach to dinner and sipping a cup of warm water with raw cacao. 2 weeks later, she said, my body feels smoother, more fluid. And I believed her, because magnesium isn't just for contracting muscles. It's for relaxing them too. It's a regulator. It doesn't just help you sleep. It helps your sleep become restorative. It doesn't just aid digestion. It helps your digestive system relax so it can function properly. Magnesium is the kind of mineral that when you're low on it, you start feeling like you're fighting yourself every single day. You feel tired even without activity. You feel irritable for no clear reason. You can't sleep no matter how exhausted you are. And here's the tricky part. Many doctors overlook magnesium because it's not included in most routine blood tests. But as someone who works closely with people over 60, I've learned this: always check the quiet things, because the things no one pays attention to are often the ones that matter most. Let's talk about food. Not pills, not supplements, but real, whole food from the earth. Because when it comes to magnesium, nature already gave us everything we need. But here's the catch. It's not just what you eat. It's how your body absorbs it. See, magnesium is picky. It needs help getting into your cells, and that help comes from other nutrients. One of the best sources of magnesium, pumpkin seeds. Just a small handful can make a real difference. I often recommend people sprinkle them into morning oats, or simply eat them as an afternoon snack. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard are also magnesium-rich, but they're even more powerful when cooked lightly, just enough to make the nutrients easier to absorb, without destroying the content. Then there are beans, especially black beans and chickpeas. When prepared with a little lemon juice or vinegar, the added acidity helps release more magnesium. I had a patient, Daniel, who used to eat healthy but fast. He would rush through salads, never chew fully, and drink cold soda alongside his meals. We made just a few changes: warmer food, slower chewing, and adding fermented vegetables to lunch. 3 weeks later, his leg cramps reduced by half, and his digestion improved dramatically. You see, magnesium needs a calm environment to be absorbed. Stress, caffeine, alcohol, and processed food can all interfere with that process. I often tell my patients, don't just add magnesium-rich foods. Create a body that knows how to receive them. Warm herbal teas, slow, mindful meals, a walk after dinner. All these things prepare your body to absorb what it needs. And remember, nature's magnesium isn't found in fancy packaging. It's in your kitchen, in that handful of seeds, in the humble bowl of steamed greens, in the beans you stew with care, when we return to food as nourishment. Not just fuel. Our bodies thank us. And magnesium, that quiet helper, finally gets to do its job. Let me ask you something. When was the last time your doctor checked your magnesium levels? If you're like most people, the answer is probably never. And yet, so many of the issues we accept as just getting older may actually be signs that magnesium is running low behind the scenes. You see, after age 60, our ability to absorb nutrients declines. We produce less stomach acid, and some of the medications commonly used, like diuretics or antacids, can actually flush magnesium out of the body. It's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. You think you're eating well, but the minerals aren't staying where they're needed. And then there's stress. Chronic stress eats up magnesium like fire consumes oxygen. The more anxious or tense we are, the more magnesium we burn through, without even realizing it. One woman, Susan, 67, came to me with constant fatigue and restless sleep. She was caring for her husband with dementia and barely had time for herself. Her tests showed borderline magnesium levels. We adjusted her diet and introduced gentle evening stretches and magnesium-rich teas. 2 weeks later, she told me, I finally slept through the night without waking every hour. Magnesium is often the missing piece, but here's the problem. Standard blood tests usually measure magnesium in the blood serum, which only accounts for about 1% of your body's total magnesium. Most of it lives inside your cells or bones, so your test might say you're normal, while your body is actually depleted. That's why I always ask about symptoms. Are you cramping often, feeling unusually tired, struggling to relax even when nothing's wrong? These can all be quiet signals from your body, whispers that something's off, and if we ignore them, they become shouts. You don't need a fancy test to listen to your body. You just need to trust what you feel. and understand that many things we've blamed on might simply be magnesium calling out for help. Let's bring it back to something practical, because once you understand how important magnesium is, the next question is always, so what should I eat? And the answer, thankfully, is simple. I call it the everyday magnesium basket. A small set of foods you can mix into your life without needing a prescription or a complicated plan. Start with seeds. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, just a tablespoon or two a day. Sprinkled on salads, in yogurt, or eaten as a snack. Can give your body a gentle magnesium boost. Next, the leafy greens, spinach, Swiss chard, kale, steam them lightly or toss them into soups. They're rich in magnesium, and also carry other nutrients that help with absorption. Don't forget the beans. Black beans, lentils, chickpeas. Try them in stews, add to brown rice, or make a simple hummus for spreading on toast. Whole grains count too. Oats, quinoa, buckwheat. They not only nourish the gut, they deliver long-lasting energy and magnesium in every bite. And here's one of my favorite quiet heroes. Dark chocolate, not the sugary kind. I'm talking about at least 70% cacao, just a small square in the evening. Can be a treat and a remedy all at once. A patient of mine, Arlene, once made a chart for her fridge. She wrote, 1 seed, 1 green, 1 grain, 1 bean, and a square of chocolate. That was her daily checklist, simple, satisfying. And within a month, her nighttime cramps were gone. You don't need a pantry overhaul. You don't need to follow a trend. Just add nature's basics back into your routine. And remember, magnesium works best not in a pill bottle, but in a rhythm of eating, resting, breathing, and noticing. So next time you're at the store, pick up a few of these magnesium-rich foods, not as a diet, not as a fix, but as a gentle message to your body. I'm listening.